Yeah. So, good afternoon, everybody. A warm welcome to all of you. Many of you do know me. My name is Yogesh Agiwal. You will actually see a small video of our intro, which you will see me actually introducing about myself. So I used to work at Wipro for a very long time. So I come from a long IT background, not a trainer or coach from the beginning. I became a trainer in 2009, and we have Krishnan here. He was my trainer actually at some point, so he helped me facilitate. And it's been now 15 years that I have been in this space. So what we usually do is that I play a small video, which is a nice video to give you an idea of what we do at Crossover. The initial part is about me that I got this award, that award. So it sometimes feels very odd that I am doing the webinar and I am only blowing my trumpet, but that is basically to get people to really look at the credibility that we come in. What I'll also do is I will now remove the option of you guys will not be able to unmute yourself. So if you want to speak something, you choose the raise hand button. So I will know that you want to speak, and then I'll unmute yourself. And I'm also going to choose the option where when people come in, it will automatically be muted, so there won't be any disturbance as we go along. So I really want it to be interactive. I mean, I want, but usually I don't because there is so much to be covered. Like if today I was like when I was preparing for this, I was thinking that see every time we do only 1 month session in 90 minutes. Here I'm talking about 4 month session in 90 minutes. So I don't know. I'll do Vande Bharat or Rajdhani, whatever you can call it. Non-stop, I will go. But the idea was to not really, go into deep into each of the topic today, but to tell you that there is a new way to look at coaching, and which I think, and I have kind of did a trial run with a lot of my clients, which we do every time when you launch a new product. So yes, there are like we have 200 clients in last 10 years. So we have some which have been with us for a really long time. So we kept, giving this to them. We tried with them. It worked very nice, I think. And then we thought that it's time we should, share it with a lot of people and start, getting to the market. So I'll share my screen now and then walk you through the website only we use usually nowadays. So let me also share the audio here. Let me share the audio also. And so you can see the crossover website now. So you will see this, and essentially when you see our website, you will see like we talk about transformation. We are talking about longer approach. Everything that you will see is about building leaders at all levels. So we have a very holistic view of how we look at leadership. So when you get a chance, do like take a look at the website. It is very, very informative. A lot of stuff that we have done, including our teams, our clients, our impact, our solutions. It's a very nicely organized website. So I'll just play a quick 3 minutes video that is a very nice video to give you an idea of the work that we do. So let me just play it for you, and then we will jump onto our session. So when you go to this website, you will see this video, and so enjoy this video, and then we will get into the webinar.
Established in 2016, Crossover Leadership Journeys embodies the transformative vision of Yogesh Agiwal, who found developing leaders as his natural quality during his illustrious career in corporate world across the globe. After his recognition by Azim Premji 2 times at Wipro, he moved into the Leadership Development Department of Wipro. He continued to go deeper in his leadership development pursuit and was invited to speak at many international forums, including the Speaker for India at Harvard Business Publishing School Partner Conference, meeting Ken Blanchard, Peter Sengh, Nitin Noria, and scores of other leadership coaches. Authors helped him bring world-class leadership practices to India. After creating the impact at Wipro, he decided to create a bigger impact and started Crossover Leadership Journeys in 2016 with a clear vision of holistic leadership development with world-class content, mentoring, and initiatives aligned with business outcomes. Every organization is made of people and everyone comes with their own experiences and mindset, which creates a hybrid culture. Crossover starts with working on the mindset of people, their immunities to change, and bring an alignment in their thinking. Once the people are aligned, the focus is shifted to customers, talent, and execution using the Custex ecosystem. This ecosystem guides in addressing the unique needs of customers, developing talent to meet customer needs, and executing the project with various elements like offsites, facilitator-led sessions, supervisor involvement, 360-degree assessment, and a strong psychological base. Custex ecosystem is brought to life with our leadership development framework, grounded in empirical research and industry best practices. Our leadership development framework encompasses multifaceted dimensions: self, team, operational, and organizational leadership across the entire organization from level 0 to level 3. There are 4 flagship programs for respective levels, which are customized to suit the unique requirement of our customer organization, catering to the diverse needs of respective levels, covering the entire organization, with topics and competencies for respective levels. The rigor of leadership development does not stop at the journey of leadership, but it continues with our unique initiative called Riyaz. There are many ways of doing Riyaz, like using book reviews or leadership videos or leadership fireside chat. Crossover's unwavering commitment to excellence in leadership development has resonated with organizations across the globe. With a track record of delivering transformative results, we have forged enduring partnerships with over 200 clients, spanning diverse industries and geographies. Join us at Crossover Leadership Journeys and embark on a transformative journey of personalized leadership development tailored to your organization's unique needs. Together, let's work on the landscape of leadership for the ever-changing world and drive unparalleled success and growth in your industry.
Good. So I'll just, I hope you found this video useful. So you can also watch this later and take a look at the website. I think quite a good of information is available there. So now let's jump into today's topic. And as you guys know that we have been doing this webinar, like Sundari said that, she's been trying to log in for last 10 years. So I don't know, it's been 10 years, but many years actually. We have been very consistent. And I think in today's session, we talk about commitment. And I think at Crossover, we really commit whatever we commit and we take action. So we committed to our clients that every 2 months we will do something for our client. It became a very beautiful routine. So it's been like 4 years now. This is, I think, the 24th webinar that we are doing every 2 months. So you can see, so these are like the slide that you already saw in the video, so I'm not coming to cover, but you can go and see all these webinars are there on our website. So you can take a look at all the past webinars. So if you go, it's there on YouTube also or on our website also. And these are very interesting topics like, this one I always love that people should look at the unleashing productivity. Again, almost guarantee you, and I was talking to Tina recently about how you can organize yourself and, not get too hassled by too many things. And if you do that, you can be really relaxed and yet get a lot of things done. And it's very beautifully done by Cal Newport and Rory Vaden's research. So like that, you will see very interesting topics: meaningful engagement, executive presence, sales engine. We also invite sometimes some very good leaders who I have known personally to come and talk to our participants. So we had invited Ramesh Dorairaj, who was with me at Wipro, and then I've been in touch. So very good. You can look at this program also. So Vikrant, you can look at this sales engine program, very helpful for you guys. Authorities, collaboration. So you can see, so all of these are very nicely available. And each of these, programs we do is that we actually use a slide that we would use in a program, which means that you can actually, like the way Nandan said, right? He put his the session I did with his family on the TV, and they saw that because And so it's not just about giving you some knowledge, but it is actually using the same deck that you can use for your program. So it means that you can actually do a session with anybody that you want to do. So as we said, today's session is about coaching self and coaching others. We are calling it as Costco. And as I was saying that, I think coaching is definitely a very profound practice, but sometimes if you want to get coaching done, it is just very prohibitive from an investment perspective. And just to give you a number, if you look at ICF coaching fees, I mean, they recommend $300, per coaching session, which is in Indian rupees, it could be like 28, 30,000 per coaching session. And this is like standard fees. If you have an organization where you want to do 10, 12 people, leaders coaching, and if you don't do it for at least 6 months, I think it's really not very effective. So just do the mathematics, 2 lakhs per leader and 220 lakhs. So it just goes too high for many organizations. Think about that. So for last, so while we do coaching for sure for our clients who are willing to invest, but the client have been telling us, that we should have some alternate. And one of my observation that I had was that while coaching is great, but sometimes I feel that a lot of time people don't have as many problem as the coach is wanting to know about him. So the coach will like use his coaching technique of asking a lot of questions, and the guy is like saying that, well, in my life I don't have so many problems that you're trying to figure out. So that is job. Okay, so I am thinking that a lot of people just need little support on how do they look at their people, look at their life should be good enough. I think you don't need to go so much deep with everybody. So here is where we created this framework. So on the left hand side is what you will see, coaching self, and on the right hand side you will see is coaching others. So if you look at the left side, and I have actually used the acronym itself to make it easy for you to remember. So like you see, COACHING is coaching actually. So which I feel is the first acronym is about the curiosity about the condition to change. So many a times I think we just become not curious about the change. And I'll talk about that as we go along. And optimism of change. So where does it come from? So many a times you see people, they just give up too fast, or they haven't really tried enough. So where does that optimism come from? So once you start with curiosity and optimism, then are you taking action, and are you committing to honor the action plan? So there are some very interesting researches, physical condition also. Like when I was in Wipro, I had a very different lifestyle, meaning there was one location, you have to go at a certain time, you have your own cabin, you have the same canteen. So life was very different. There was a gym inside the campus. So, you could do all that. And I always liked doing exercise. And when I started on my own in 2015, life completely changed. And I just could not have the same cabin. There was no cabin actually. And then every day there was a new city, new place, so much of travel. And I remember that, I just didn't have the same routine. And I read a book by Sean Aker, and it's called Happiness Advantage. And he beautifully talked about the physical setup, meaning if you have the physical setup around you in such a way that it gives you a cue to take certain action. And I really tried that, so I'll cover that. And then once you get into this commitment, you start seeing a shift in yourself, and this is a self shift that happens up to this stage. And then what we also want people to look at life is about not just for yourself, because I think at certain stage of life, I mean, if you're, I know Sarayu, Nandan are part of a spiritual group, and we have some conversation around that. But I think that in my observation, there is a certain stage in everybody's life where you start seeing and thinking, कि यार ये सब किसके लिए है? मतलब, why am I doing all this? And then you start seeing that, yeah, I should do something, for not just myself. That is where the holistic comes into play. And also you start getting insights about yourself, that whatever I've done so far, is it working, not working? And then you start enjoying the new self, because then you start seeing, oh, that is possible. I think whatever I tried, and then you kind of look for another condition for change, meaning taking it to the next level. So if you see the yellow line, it actually goes back. So it is a journey of curiosity to growth, and growth to curiosity. So you can see this blue coming here and then yellow going back. You know, and then once you've done this journey, so which we typically do this for our clients in a 4 month format. So it could be done for about eight to maximum 10 leaders in a class, not more than that, because there's a lot of self exploration that happens in the class. And then we kind of take them through another 4 months where they use some of the existing frameworks, like how do you become a coach as a leader. So you're not really making them ICF coaches, but giving them enough of coaching skills so that they can do better. How are you using contextual leadership? How can you use humble inquiry as a skill to unleash the potential of your team, and how can you engage with them? So this is the, I think, overall framework. I'll not cover the right side today. I'm worried about the left side itself, that it is a lot of slides that I've put in together. But I just want to give you a beautiful way to think about this. And some of it, I'm sure many of the coaches who are there on the session today would know that. But I am just trying to say that when you're taking this to your participants or your coaches, this can be a nice way to look at it, that how step by step one could actually change oneself, even in a group format. Because in coaching, I know there is a lot of confidentiality, and the coachee would share a lot of things that he would otherwise not share. But I think that a lot of these common issues that they are going through can be done in a group setting. So as we begin the journey, you can we start with like change, and I'm giving you this because some of you are already coaches, some of you have got your own companies, some are joining us from an L&D team. So our endeavor always has been to help as many people in various organizations, and that has helped us to get a lot of work, because sometimes the organization may not have enough bandwidth to do it themselves. So they call us and say that, oh, we love this program, can you do it for us? So you start with change, and maybe when you do this small activity, if you were to do in a classroom, we basically put a tape and ask people to go and mark themselves, where are you on the spectrum of change, whether you are excited about change, or you're unsure about change. And that is where you essentially start having conversation about change. What are you guys thinking about change? And like, you can ask questions to them. Why did you choose that spectrum? How do you usually feel about change? If you are able to handle change, what is that one thing that helps you in doing that? So when you do that, I think no matter where you are in that spectrum, the goal is it not to be comfortable with the change right away, but to coach ourselves toward being more open to it. So you're slowly building in their mindset, saying that I think it's very natural for us to get not so comfortable with change, and you can bring a little bit of neuroscience, behind that. That the brain does not like change. It likes certainty. So you are basically preparing them towards the first step of curiosity, because curiosity gets really defeated if you are not wanting to really appreciate change. And that is where I think we talk about the mental barriers and the inner voice that's always stopping us from achieving our potential. So if you were to do anything that is like stuff that you have not done before, there is a high chance that your inner voice will say, "Yaar, kyun karna hai?" Let it be the way we are. Like, there's a very nice small case study where I think if you are somebody who is doing marathon, and last year your timing was like, say 2 hours 57 minutes doing a full marathon, and then you take up a target that which is ambitious of 25%, meaning higher, meaning less than that amount you will be do. And during every time you do the practice, you are not able to really move far. There is an inner voice that keeps telling you, here, is this too ambitious? Is it should I even do this? Even if I do 10%, I think, it should be all right. And in our session, we should start exploring this with people, with our saying that, what is your current mental state? What is it that is, coming as an inner voice to you? And then you can maybe talk about, the limbic system, rational brain, which if you look at any of our EI program, you will see this happening, wherein all our past experiences are like stored in limbic system, and the prefrontal cortex is where you do your current decisions. So if we continue to just operate with limbic only and not connect with limbic system, those people, kind of resist too much of change. But if we connect our limbic with our prefrontal cortex, you then start realizing maybe this change is actually good for me. I should maybe try and make this change. So you can do this. I'm not covering detail about each of these areas, which you could watch in a lot of my videos that are there on the website. But this is a nice way to kind of get them to start appreciating that it could be some experiences of our childhood, that is making me, not really do certain things. So what are we having that pattern? There is a behavioral pattern, there is a fear about whether I should do this, I should not do this. So you should try and maybe, use this prefrontal cortex thing to start think that. So there's a very beautiful, phrase by Ricky Rogers, where he says that strength doesn't come from what you can do, it comes from overcoming things that you once thought you couldn't do. So these are some phrases that can be put up to have the conversation, because we are basically, leading them towards saying that uh, all these barriers are like, created by our experiences, and it has no correlation with the current capability. And whenever I've done coaching assignment, I really get amazed to see the coachee doing so much that he never could ever imagine that he could do that. Then they really laugh at themselves, saying that maybe why did I was, having those barriers for so many years, and they can be like really broken. So as you see this, as I explained in the model, so we will look at the first two. So these are basically, coming together in bundles. So curiosity, optimism is one set, action commitment is another, holistic insight is another, new self and growth is another. These are like a 4-day program, two areas every month. So it's a 1 day. I mean, you can decide, when you go through this on how you want to structure, but that has been our experience that 4 months, two topics every month, and it gradually builds on. So we start with curiosity and optimism, and there's a very beautiful, story. You would have heard this fox and the grape story, and there are two meanings to this. One is that I think as a children are very curious about the story, so they will ask like too many questions about. But if you look at an adult, if you tell a story, they'll say the fox cannot talk, or the grapes or whatever. But they'll be like bringing in a lot of judgmental questions, but not the kids. And as you know, this fox, he was trying to, get the grapes, and he could not reach. At the end, he said, "Ke yaar, ye to pura grapes are like sour, so I don't want it. I never wanted that." So that is what happens in this story. That are we really curious about what I'm not able to do, or am I giving up like that fox too often? So that is a question that we want to ask ourselves. And I think if you start building that, and asking like the kid, that asking why and why not type of question, and then this two area, that curiosity essentially helps us to kind of uncover some of our strengths which we have not covered before, and optimism like really fuels that positive outcome towards the change that we want to make that happen. And so there is this very nice story by this monk, which where he says that I think I'm not able to progress in the divine. This curiosity thing is like a lifelong journey. It's not like a destination, because and as you saw in the initial part, that once you reach to a certain level, you want to go back to curiosity to find out a new level. So your never ending story. And that is really the joy of this whole journey. Meaning you're not, and we always, I tell my coaches that don't look at this as a pain in life. Look at it like a joy. Okay, you're enjoying the journey, and that is where I think this Zen, and this is a very long story, but essentially the Zen's disciple says that, boss, I'm not making enough progress, and should I continue, is the question to the Zen master. And Zen master takes him to the garden and shows that, if you look at these flowers and and I know this issue in Pahalgam that happened. I think when I look at this right side, it reminds me of Kashmir, but we are going through a tough time. Yesterday I was really thinking, what should we do about today's webinar? There's so much of protest happenings, candles happening. So, but I think life moves on, and whatever happened has happened. So the Zen said that if you look at these flowers and trees, they all have their own pace at which they grow, and we also, like at our home, we are plant lovers, and I could watch in our gallery how each leaves and each flower that blossoms are at their own pace. So I think all of us in our lives actually have our own pace, and many a times we kind of start comparing ourselves with others, and start seeing not the thing that actually is so unique within us. So the idea is that looking around nature and seeing that if they are growing at their own pace, I think I also have my pace. So how do you do that? So I'm going to take a pause in another 5 7 minutes, and give you these 3 steps that I feel is a nice way to look at curiosity that you can develop, which is basically, first is mindful reflection. So many a times in the routine of our participants or our coach or ourselves also, we get so trapped into that same routine that there is not enough mindful attention to what am I thinking. Yeah, so mindful reflection is a maybe a time in a day, 5 10 minutes, where you want to do that. And second is the strength exploration, meaning uh, you know s- and I many times do an exercise with in my class, and I ask people to write down 5 strengths that they have, and many times people just struggle to write, but the moment you ask them to write their weaknesses, immediately it comes. So what we want to bring in here is that all of us have got so much of strengths that we can use to really handle our weaknesses. And then there is a last part, which is positive inquiry, which means that if there are obstacles, how am I exploring that? And the next 3 slides kind of gives you a little bit more detail on how do you check in your thoughts, how do you look at what is I'm noticing about myself, and what are those occasions in the day when I am not able to be at my full swing. It could be doing a presentation to the board, or it could be looking at a tough program, or it could be looking at tough implementation. And then, am I really appreciating whatever progress I am making? So the tendency many a times is to look at things that are not going well, but there could be many things that could go well. So in the mindful reflection, you're looking at these bullets, and then you're looking at your strengths and seeing that if I can focus on my strengths and view the challenges as opportunities for growth using the strength. So not everybody will have all the strengths, but if I can look at this chart here and kind of circle them and start seeing that what is coming naturally to me, and how can I use that to areas that I am not really good at. And when I did this exercise with our participant, I could see that there are so many things people had which they over the years somehow they have forgotten that they are so good at so many areas. And and then from that they could see that I could handle the areas that I have. And then last part is about the inquiry, saying that stay curious about what are your strengths, and being optimistic about the change. So once we start focusing our attention on success, I think it generally creates a very nice positive momentum. So I think we should start each day with the mindful reflection and end with a positive inquiry. Use strength to tackle the challenges in a new way. And when you run this framework in a a 4 month format, there is a good amount of practice that they can do for the 30 days, and then they can come back and kind of share that, how has been the pattern for them. And as I move forward in the action and commitment, I will see what some of those areas they can do as they go along in the journey. So once then some of these could be printed, they could put it on their, at home. And, as I was talking about Sean Aker, create an environment where it is a reminder to you visually, saying that, am I into the mode of always not doing a positive inquiry? Am I in the mode of not looking at my strengths? And that becomes really powerful for them. So I just kind of touched upon the first two areas of how do you look at curiosity and optimism, and then we will look at the action and commitment. But I'll take a pause here, and I will try and unmute you guys and see if I can allow you guys to, you can now unmute yourselves. I'll also, yeah, I've unmuted. So I just want anybody who would like to reflect upon whatever we have done so far, and then we move forward. So I think I am doing quite well on my time here at 4:40. We have time till 5:30. So I think we can have some conversation around the first two part, whatever I've covered in the overall framework. So
So
anybody,
Rajesh, just if you can go back to
yeah,
that strength slide,
yes, yes, yes,
it's just amazing that we simply are not aware,
yes,
right? One, two, three, four. So you're maybe having more than 20, 25,
yes, yes, yes,
right? Having heads on which many people have got good amount of strength.
yes,
Right?
yes, yes,
Love
absolutely.
of learning is probably many people on this call.
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
I was not even aware.
yes, yes.
Right?
Absolutely, very nice. Yeah, you can just put this, and I have seen whenever I've done this, yeah, there is a very nice, wave of positivity that start building into people. It's a slow process. Hence, I tell people that I think we are not going to do this as a one-day program. It's a 4 month journey, and every month you can, pick up, the areas that we have talked about and make it like a routine. And our mind is responsive to intentional practice, which means that if I practice certain things over a period of time, my mind becomes responsive to that practice. So it is sometimes I feel like a combination of mechanical, chemical, all process coming together. So we should create also an environment like this. And many times I have seen that the conversation starts shifting in the organization also. So, for example, if Vikrant was to do for these 300 people, for example, they will start shifting. They may not use the acronym, they might not, but there is a shift that starts happening in their mindset. So if they're going to a doctor, they'll say, maybe if he's not responding, I must be busy. Let me be optimistic about taking the appointment again next work. So it's a mindset like that. So Nandan, what you said is very nice. Yeah. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Any reflections?
Yogesh, I have a query.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
if you are not clear of the direction? Like, for example, if you look at the strengths, you are good, you can go in direction A or direction B. Uh, what happens at that path of curiosity when you're not very clear about it?
So Arvind, in my experience, many times people do look for a prescriptive answer, and I feel that I think if we give time, they just figure out their own answer. So there is a very beautiful story by a guy called Baba Hari. Okay, he used to be a Baba, not like our today's Baba, just making money, but really good Baba, and he would, I think Sarayu and Venkat would have heard this story earlier. So he would actually only take 3 or 4 appointments in a day, okay, and he will not take appointment. You have to go to his ashram, and then the receptionist will take money, and then you can go inside. No pre-booking. So there was a very wealthy guy, so he heard about him and he went there, and he gave the money. At that time in 96, he was charged like $200, which is very close to ICF fees today, 20, 30 years before. So, he gave the money, and 12 o'clock, the receptionist said that Baba Hari is not available today. You'll have to come tomorrow. So he got very angry. He said, "This is not the way I came here and I paid the fees." So he said, "I'm so sorry, but you can take your fees back. But Babari is not taking any more appointments." So he got upset and he went. Okay. Next day again he came. Okay. So Baba did not give the time immediately. Okay. He called him at the 11:30 slot. And he was very angry yesterday and today also he didn't get the first slot and all that. So he went inside and Babari said, "Yeah, come," welcomed him. And he said, "Tell me what is the issue?" And he said, "What issue? I got that issue resolved yesterday only." So then Baba Hari said that, "Yeah, I know that. And this is by design that, you know, I know that you have all the capacity. I'm just here to create that environment where you solve yourself." And he became so famous that people would go to his ashram, pay the money, not meet him, yet get the solution. Yeah. So good for all our coaches here on the call that I hope you can also become like Baba Hari. So I think my thinking around this is that we should give enough time to people and they can figure out themselves. And I'm not like a very strong proponent of pure coaching. You could do little bit of guidance to them on mentoring, giving some examples how people have led their lives, and then they can make the choices. And but I think we should leave it to them for a more sustainable journey. If we were to really coach them for life, and they'll find out their own way. And what we are saying here is also in the journey is that doesn't matter. Even if you make certain mistakes, that is okay. Like in Hyderabad, we say कि life को light ले लो, meaning don't be too serious about life. It's too much of fun there available for you to not pick it up and get too upset. So
Probably know your why a bit more clearer.
yeah,
Okay, then,
absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So become Baba Hari. It's a very nice story that we talk about. Yeah. Yeah, so good. Yeah, Krishnan. Yeah, Krishnan, we are enjoying the session. Yeah, Baba Hari wala story बहुत बढ़िया, Krishnan. I love it actually. And that I do it for like lot of my sessions also. When they tell me कि बस ये आपने हमको cover नहीं किया, ये सब बताया नहीं, बोला हम तो हो जाएगा. We are Baba Hari. Will not tell you right now. You'll find your own solution sometime. Yeah? So once we build this optimism, curiosity, we basically move into action. And this is little tough part. In many times that I think we all have certain actions, but we, somewhere, don't take action. Meaning we have a lot of plans, and many a times I'll just go back and do that unmute again so that we can. I'll just mute all and then. So, so this one is another, issue that. So I'll take pause like this in between and maybe ask you guys. And if you want to, speak in between, just raise the hand. I'll unmute you and you can speak. So essentially, I think knowledge is everywhere. There are like tons and tons of books available, and the challenge is about the gap between knowing and doing, and that is where I think we start like bringing that action and commitment part. So, while they have kind of started to look at optimism and curiosity, we then start also bringing that connection with their childhood experiences, that influences their actions or inaction, and mostly inaction. And there is so much to do with our, childhood experiences, the way we have processed our environment, and I many a times, give examples of when your children get married and the daughter comes home and they have come with such a different environment and they're coming to a new place and they just find it so. And when I relate to how I see their parents, and because your counterpart or something in Hindi you call it, your other side, and you see their lifestyle and you see how much of influence that has on people on not taking action or taking action. So this is a very nice way to look at. One is acclimatizing with your belief system. So there is a certain belief system that we form, from our childhood. Like I am a very strong proponent of like homeopathic medicine. For like, I don't know, for 35, 40 years, I have never taken allopathic, unless there is an injury and you are getting surgery or something like that. But for normal ailments, but I was talking about this other part, and there are people who just don't believe in homeopathy. They feel that allopathic is, the belief system has come from somewhere in their childhood that I think you should get quickly cured the day you have a problem, and not even leaving the child for a single day, and they don't know how they are essentially destroying the child's future immune system. But that is a belief system. People like that who come into the program and they have certain beliefs. So we don't want to really push this like a medicine to them, because if any of you have gone to Mount Everest, you don't climb the Mount Everest, right? You first go to the base camp. So you're acclimatizing your body, right? So here is, acclimatizing yourself with your belief system. Okay. And now it is easy because they have learned curiosity. So now you can take this participant back to saying, यार curiosity में देखो ना कि अपना belief system क्या है. Second is initiating action with dopamine. So you would have read, if you have not read, I think you should read. This is a very powerful chemical to help you take action. And I'll talk about the habit loop that we'll talk about. And last is, moving towards your intrinsic motivation, which again, Daniel Pink has done a phenomenal job in this area. So first is, I think, no single instance will transform your belief system, because that is like so hardwired in people's mind, and I actually, my mom is from Rajasthan and my dad is from Maharashtra, and I know Armin is here from Nashik, and I think in my father's side, everybody would carry a sword. वो शिवाजी का तलवार होता है ना, तो मतलब like I could see that they are like so much, like, and then when I go to Rajasthan, it's a very different way. So when I was like looking at some of the people whom I have had a chance to coach in two geographies, and I would tell them that it was so hard to get out that belief system, and this phrase by James Clear is so powerful that I think as you build up these votes, these small habits can really make a big difference in the way you look at it. So it is basically also drawing from like small changes, and I feel Kaizen is a very beautiful methodology. You would have seen this in manufacturing in other areas, but you can also apply this in our own lives, and you can really look at 1% improvement strategy. Don't go like all out to change yourself in the single day. It takes time. So wheel and Toko are like, you can do chat GPT and you will find the full acronym is like it talks about what happened, how did you feel, evaluation, exploration, or the TECO is trigger, action, consequence. So it's a very nice way to really look at what are those things that happens to me and how would I like to change. So making those small changes, so you can tweak your daily routine to make the progress very nicely. So once you start doing that, you will start seeing the change happening. So this is like when you're working on yourself or you're working with your participants, uh, don't try to do too many things at the same time. Go step by step, let them experience that. So you can, like, for example, if I want to improve my public speaking skills, it is as simple as just 5 minutes each day speaking in front of a mirror. And nowadays, we have got our smartphones. You can put alarm clock. You can, decide whatever. But the whole idea is give them small assignment that they can do, and they will start seeing the change happening. So, for example, this could be, so in crossover we always are very big fan of giving workbooks. We kind of make them put their plans, that what is the goal you want to achieve, what is the area, what is that small habit that you will do, and you will make that. So it could be anything, it could be any area, it could be exercise, it could be anything. And this can be done with like in this 1% improvement can be done with habit loop. So habit loop is a very nice way to train our brains to form the habit. And here is where I always find the neuroscience very useful, meaning your brain actually start getting into the change. So if you now read about neuroplasticity and things like that, it's like proven that if I like today's session, right? If you were to do a scan of your brain, and maybe when we do all this and you practice and we do a scan of your brain after 2 months, you will start seeing a shift in the brain, which is the brain forms the habit through a sequence of cues, cravings, routines, and reward. And I'll just quickly show you that. So Q is like, and I was telling you about my experience of leaving Wipro, and then my lifestyle completely changed. There was no gym routine. There was like you're traveling every city almost every third day, and like doing 3 cities in a week. Uh, and when I was reading, Sean Akers' book, he said that, carry something that, you want to do next day. And I literally would carry my walking shoes. And I then started realizing that a lot of hotels actually had gym, which earlier I thought maybe they're not there, or I don't know. I never paid attention. Second is craving. So what I started doing when I used to go to the hotel, I would, pull out my sneakers, shoes, my socks, my walking t-shirt or whatever, gym t-shirt and all that, and keep it ready. The moment I saw that when I got up, and there is a 20-second rule, that Sean Aker, and he's a Harvard professor, by the way. He has done, you should read his work, and he's in phenomenal work. And he says that the mind takes 20 seconds to make a decision to move forward or not, which means that if my shoes are not out of my suitcase, or if the t-shirt is not out of the suitcase, there is a high chance that I'll say, Araj chodo, I'll start from tomorrow, which means that you have to create. And the craving is basically, I used to always enjoy exercising, and I started, craving for the satisfaction of, or the joy of doing breakfast after exercise, and not feeling guilty to have that cheese sandwich or whatever. So that craving is like a dopamine transmitter in your brain that is saying, yaar kar lo. And then you get into the exercise routine, and then you get the reward. So dopamine gets secreted two times. One is in anticipation, second is in reward. So this is the habit loop. So when you are looking at action and commitment, for your participant or for yourself, if you are now going through my program here, try to see if you want to form an habit loop for yourself, and set up your home, your place, whatever you want to do. So if you want to, like, presentation skills, or putting yourself in good shape, or anything, create an environment physical, meaning your brain, like, otherwise, in the 20 second you will say, "Yaar, chhod." Like, for example, if you always wanted to play guitar, and if the guitar is in like a room which takes more than 20 seconds to pull out, it's in a cupboard that is difficult to pull out, you'll not do it. But if the guitar is right in front of your hall, and you just pick it up and start playing, and then when you start playing, you start enjoying the rewards. It's like a cycle, very beautiful cycle that happens. So basically, you start with the cue, seeing the, like, workout clothes that I give an example, which triggers the action. This is the anticipation of getting the dopamine release in your, associated with the physical activity. Then you actually do the routine where you do the workout, and then you see the rush of dopamine, and that is the reward. So this is like a dopamine driven feedback loop. And I'm telling you, and I think many of you do come to our bi-monthly. Every time I've seen so many of you coming again, is, I think, and you keep telling me also that you like the implementation part of my session, which is, at entire crossover, I tell my facilitators also here, कि, ज्ञान तो पूरा दुनिया में है. People can pick it up from anywhere. What they like is that, have you done it yourself? Have you tried this yourself? It doesn't matter whether you're successful or not, but you should be authentic about that. I have tried this myself, and that has been. And one interesting thing is, I was wondering that how do I carry that mat every time if there is no gym in the hotel? And I found a very beautiful mat, which actually, like, it's like a, the moment you throw it on the floor, even if it is a regular tile floor, it catches, like, it has a element inside below, which kind of becomes like a mat. It's a very nice travel mat. I think less than 600 grams, which means you're not carrying big thing. It folds like a nice, cloth. So it's so beautiful, actually. So you can, I mean, the moment you start, thinking about this, and that became a beautiful cue for me. And I tried this, and the dopamine feedback loop really worked very beautifully. So I think, the habit loop to become really habit, meaning even the habit loop should become an habit. It is basically our commitment to the habit, meaning to the loop. And I think it's a very beautiful phrase by Confucius, that the man who moves a mountain, like, really begins by carrying small stones. And I keep repeating again that, don't go too much in too many things. Just pick up one area that they want to go, and then push them to give a commitment. And I don't know how many of you like Salman Khan, but I like him only for one, I think, dialogue that he uses, that एक बार सोच लेता हूँ तो खुद की भी नहीं सुनता हूँ. I mean, if I give a commitment, then I don't listen to myself also, which is a fantastic way to look at life, and you can use that to do that. Yeah. So I think we should get more commitment, and I see many of us, honor the commitment that we give to people, but we don't honor, the commitment that we make to ourselves, and that should not be the case. Like, and I like that Hindi phrase also, अगर दुनिया को जीतना है तो पहले खुद को जीतो, which means that you have to give and honor the commitment to yourself the way you're committing to others. And I think, like in Western world, date is a very nicely used term, and इसलिए मैंने वो हार्ट का वैलेंटाइन हाथ डाल के रखा है. तो बेसिकली डेट विद योरसेल्फ, मेक अ कमिटमेंट डेट के, am I like really doing that what I committed, and I'm making that commitment as a sacred thing के जैसे बोलते हैं ना, इनमें प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए, मीनिंग have you given yourself the vachan that even if I die, I will like honor the commitment. And the last point is very interesting, that sometimes if you're not honoring your commitment, don't get too upset with yourself, like look at like a play and say that yeah ठीक है यार मेरे से नहीं होता है, sometimes I am like this, I do like this. So don't get too upset with yourself. It's like a journey, which means so enjoy your own commitment, and see for yourself how you are going and doing that. Yeah. So once we have done, like, so we have now like become like a master of habit loops, and we are now seeing the transformation that is happening. So then what is next? Next is about holistic and insight, right? So we have started with curiosity, optimism, we have taken actions, you saw the commitment, we saw the habit loop, and very beautifully you have reached to a place where I think you have like now got more comfortable with yourself. कि जो आप सोचते हो, you're able to do it yourself. And the next phase of this Costco is about holistic, wider view of yourself, which is like, what are the ripple effects in our lives? Meaning, the curiosity, optimism, actions, commitment, how do you create ripples in our team, family, and society? And if you remember in the beginning, I said that, almost everybody have experienced, and I am also maybe getting to that age where I am experiencing it myself. And you start feeling at certain point in your life कि यार ये सब किसके लिए टाइम, and that maybe that is driving crossover also to be more giving as an organization. So we do a lot of work. I personally do a lot of work, on pro bono. I do leadership sessions for our Sahaj Yoga school, which I've been meditating for last, I think, 30 years. So I do state level. It's so much of fulfilling experience to go to different parts of the country and help, get people, become, because leadership is all about not just about our own success, but creating a ripple effect. And I know some of you may be much younger in the call here today, and आप लोग बोले ये क्या बाबा के जैसा बात कर रहे हैं, बट आई फील दैट आई विश आई हैड gone through something like this maybe early in my career, and I would have maybe taken some more decision that would more feel, but no regrets about that. But I want to just tell you that you will experience that, and I have had a chance to coach different ages, and I have seen so many people that I feel that I think we should step back and look at what is our life made up about. And once we reach that stage, then बाकी सब चीज बहुत छोटा लगता है. Then you start realizing अरे यार वो सब, why am I getting too worried about things which are so small that I should not be even spending my time on. And that is where I think you should read, and I bring in a lot of research in my conversation always, because I feel that people like Otto Scharmer, if you haven't read his book called Theory you should read, you should listen to some of his talks. Amazing work he has done in this space, where he says that I think if we can move from a ego mindset, to an eco mindset. So ego is all about personal success, and we are not saying that. I mean, there is anything wrong in that. I mean, we all would have started with their journey, but at some point, I think we should move from ego to eco mindset, and you will start seeing that when we start doing that part, and we start making decisions which are much more long term, you start seeing that there are some scenarios that I want to show back, and you can maybe take a look at yourself and see whether those scenarios are helping you to look at a broader perspective. So I think there is a promotion coming up, and I think that there is a teammate who has contributed equally. or there is a crucial presentation next week and your colleague is stressed out, your department has received extra funding, but another department, is failing. Yeah. So I think, Soundri, I'll just take a pause here. I know you are raising your hand, so I'll just maybe try and unmute you. I think I'll just try and let me see if I can unmute you, and yeah, you can unmute yourself now, Sundari.
Yeah. No, thank you. And I don't want to, if you want to finish the segment, I can wait. Sorry, I just
No,
was.
no, 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 please, 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 please. Yeah.
Okay, okay. No, just so much connects, right? And the age group wise and life stage wise and all also what you were saying about what you go through. So I wanted to just share few observations. One
Yes,
is on the habit part,
yes,
especially for the last few years, I've been focused on women and building muscles
yes,
because women, as you reach menopause, lose a lot of muscle.
yes,
And traditionally, obviously, either people used to think that now the thinking is changing a lot,
yes, yes,
India, worldwide, and all of that. But
yes,
traditionally, people used to say do housework and that'll build, but it doesn't.
yes, yes,
We
yes,
need to consciously actually look at muscle building. And for women and for men, some
yes,
of the easy ways of doing it, for instance, is when you put, like, just for example, you're putting your coffee or tea in the microwave to heat, or food to in the microwave to eat, heat. Can you do a few sit-ups? Can you do
mm-hmm.
some stretches while you're doing that in that waiting time?
Very
So
nice.
mechanically building in some of this, so
Yeah.
you're flexing and you're building activity around while you're, so literally, like how we talk about, learning in the flow of work, this
Yes,
is
yes, yes.
exercising in your flow of your day,
Very
moving.
nice.
So I thought that was really nice. And the what you said also about you have to live it authentically.
Yes,
As a business storytelling coach, I can go
yes,
and talk about storytelling. If
yes,
I don't share examples, I'm not evangelizing it, I'm not living it.
yes,
It's
yes,
theory.
yes, yes, absolutely.
So that is something that I'm always also conscious of in terms of, I don't only talk about stories, you need to share stories.
Yeah, yeah.
In that part, I know that you do that a lot. And that was one of our first few conversations
I
that
know,
we
I know. I
had
can
discussed.
imagine. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And this thing on the small actions,
Yes.
there's a person called Dasrath Manji who used to be
Mm.
a laborer whose
Yes.
wife could not, he was in this place called Galore.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mountainous region, and his wife fell
Okay.
ill and he couldn't transport her to the hospital.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so he started digging that mountain with a chisel, literally with a
Yes,
chisel.
yes, yes, yes.
And a lot of you might, I can see some
Manji,
young
Manji.
yeah.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
you might
Manji.
know
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
absolutely. Yes,
example.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Make the small dents. Finally, of course, unfortunately, the wife did not survive, but
Yes,
it helped so many people cutting
yes,
down their travel time. So
yes,
your thing also linking it to how you can be in service of others.
yes, yes, yes. Very nice. Super.
Share when we contribute, it's more on servicing others and serving others
Yes.
rather than looking at it from what can I gain.
Lovely, lovely. Very nice. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank you
sharing.
for
Yeah,
that
it sounds
space.
very nice. I am so glad. Yeah, so these are very nice, I think. And the hard part, Sundari, I feel in our world of facility coaching is that it's not easy for us to, also implement. So what happens with a lot of people is that while they like it, but they don't do it themselves. That is where the issue comes in. But yeah, I think it's an effort that we have to continue. And this muscle part, I think you should blow it more, because people don't know that, at certain age, the muscle will not build. You will have to break it to build it, or have, proteins more than carbohydrates. So very nice. Yeah. So I think as we go further, as we're coming very nicely, we are right on time, going well. So I think while we work, I think we should pause, reflect. And I think in the whole journey, we keep reminding people. And Deepika, Priyanka, you can also, put the WhatsApp link on the. So we have a very nice group called Leadership Chaska. It's a WhatsApp group. I know many of you are already there, but those who are new, can actually join the group, because you then don't miss out on our updates. And for next 2 months, we will have one of our mentors also, mentoring all of you. So you can actually get good nice post, good things for them, so you can use that in the journey. Yeah. So I'll ask Priyanka and Deepika to post the WhatsApp.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, you can do
Sure,
that.
sir.
Yeah, and I think as we go along, like what has worked, so it's like a constant journey, and then what will I do different next time, what has been. So by this time of, curiosity, they have like learned, to be more reflective about what they are doing, and which is the last part, which is new self and growth, which means that they start enjoying the new self, because then by this time, not only they have done a lot of stuff for themselves, not so much monetarily, but as an individual, that they are starting to enjoy the giving. And there is very nice work by Adam Grant also, called a book called Give and Take. It's a very beautiful book. I think all of you should read that as well, and they talk about how do giving sometimes comes back to you in a very nice way. So the last part is enjoying the joy of this change, and then looking at the conditions for next level of growth. So as I was saying, we are coming to the last part of this Costco side, and basically when you start experiencing the change in your mindset, your behavior, it's like a breath of fresh air, and you start, recognizing that you're moving beyond yourself. You're trying to see that there is a lot of them. This is your, that when you're moving beyond yourself, this is like you start seeing the world very differently. You start looking at your own strength, looking at other people's. And I think many a times that crossover, we have tried to even do this part, that a lot of our employees are like women employees who maybe have taken a break, for many years, and they have really lost touch with how can they work in a corporate setup. And we are trying our best to get them an environment. And when I look at around them, a lot of companies don't have confidence in whether they will be able to work. And I think in the same framework, using the same philosophy, we could see them differently. We saw that I think they are much more as committed or more committed than you would see a regular employee, even though when they are working from home, they have had a big gap. So you start seeing that, a new perspective to the world around you, and this starts changing, for yourself also. Like you're no longer, worried about, trying something new, because you are always trying to refine your skills, expanding your capabilities, and you're not too worried about that anymore, because you start enjoying the change, because you have also learned, जैसे हम हैदराबाद में बोलते हैं, take life lightly. So even if you make mistakes, you're okay with that. You're saying, oh, it's okay, I think I'll pick it up type. That becomes your attitude towards life, which means that it's a very beautiful cycle of, you remember where we started with, I think we did this change part, in the beginning, then we saw how we had gone through the journey of growth, and then we again start the curiosity again. So it's like a never ending cycle, where you are starting with change, looking at the growth, and again saying that I want to again go back and start and look at curiosity to again change, and this is like a never ending, very beautiful cycle that we bring in. Yeah. So this kind of brings me to the, I think once again, the, final framework, which we covered in a very nice, roughly 1 hour. I started at 4:10, and we are at, I think, 5:10, and I typically keep 15 minutes for, just conversations, any questions you may have. But this is what I had for all of you. Costco, and there are 4 modules. If you go to our website, you can see the details of these modules, and maybe at some point I'll do Costco part 2, in which we will try and cover the right side of it. But I think the left side is what I thought I would cover today. So I'll just unshare my screen now. And I think Priyanka has started to put, I think, the, the chat link here. And yeah, so Saundari, thanks for sharing your profile also. So people can click on that link. Let me just I'll let you guys unmute if you want to unmute yourself. So you can unmute yourself. And I'm just unsharing now so that we can have some conversation for a few minutes before we wind up. So yeah, you can have, like, you might have some questions about the whole framework or whatever. So um, anybody can, maybe share their reflection. I know Armin, Saundari, you guys shared in between, but anything that you would like to share about Costco?
No, this is, to my opinion, this is a very well-researched framework.
Yeah,
And I am a psychologist and a mentor, and I use aspects of it, but I've never put it in a proper framework. Like,
yeah,
so I've taken webinars on this habit loop, and we have this two rule of two. Like, whenever you do want to do something, don't give a gap of 2 days.
yes,
You do
yes,
it on Monday, and then if you don't do it on Tuesday, definitely do it on Wednesday. So that becomes easy. So
yeah,
there are many techniques like that from the framework, which I could absolutely, I use them and I connected to them very well. But it's a very nicely put up structure.
yeah. What happens, Armin? My thinking is that, see, it is like Bruce Lee style, meaning you have to practice, but human beings always want variety. ठीक है, अरे सर कोई नया बताओ, अरे
सही
क्या
है.
बताओ, आई मीन जो है उसी को करो आप. So what I generally try to do is that bring in the same element in a different format again,
Exactly.
and that really helps quite a bit because and somewhere in the journey you would have seen that I always tell my participant that like before you become a good leader, become a good human being. पहले अच्छे इंसान बनो.
सही है.
Yeah, and then that is the underlying current that runs all through, and if they start seeing that greatness about that contribution, then you start seeing your own issues much more smaller than what people are facing.
True.
So thanks, Armin, for sharing. Any
Yeah. Thank you so
yeah,
much. Thank you
yeah.
for the invitation. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think we had. So I think Priyanka has put that WhatsApp group so you guys can join the WhatsApp group so that you will all never miss out on our webinars. You can, you will get the links posted there and you can do that. And maybe Soundari, we should do one with you, one webinar on story. It's been
No,
long
we
overdue, so we
we
can
planned it, and then I think we did the knowing bit. We have to do the doing bit.
doing bit. Yeah, so I think I'll ask Deepika to be in touch with you. We'll schedule it maybe, one of the
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Love that. Would love that. No, thank
Yeah.
you so much. And so coincidentally, just before our call, I was talking with a friend of mine who's a PCC coach, is like doing a lot of great work, but a
Yes.
dear friend. So we have these thoughtful conversations sometimes saying, literally, we were talking why coaching? Only because of the fact that there are a lot of organizations which are fleecing money on coaching. And it was like when you started saying this and started setting the tone for this conversation, I was thinking, oh my God, this is like a continuation of the conversation that I had with my friend. Uh,
Yes,
it
yes,
just moved. And I think it's really nice because as leaders, as managers within the organization, if we can just
yes,
build these skills and we have our teams to really try it out on in a way and get feedback from.
yes, yes, yes.
So a lot of the things we used to call what is called Bayside coaching,
Yeah.
coaching at the workplace in the, in organizations. And I think there's such a beautiful way to integrate it into our day to day.
Yes, yes,
Not
yes,
saying that you only if you do this certification, only
yes,
if you do this. Yes, of course, all certifications are useful. No knowledge is wasted and all that. But if you can
yes,
just build this into really like, how it is
yeah, yeah,
very
yeah, absolutely.
intuitive in a way.
Yes, yes.
Thank
I
you so
think
much, Yogesh.
a
And
lot
I'm
of our senior coaches are here. Yatish is here, I can see, and Sanjeev Surya Kumar. Sandeep has been quiet today. Otherwise, Sandeep is our opening batsman generally. So if nobody speaks, then I request Sandeep to open the conversation. Hi Sandeep, hope you're a big fan of big frameworks. I hope you found this also useful.
Yeah, I use a slightly simpler coaching framework. I use the GROW model,
Yeah, yeah.
goals, realities, options, will, intent.
Yes,
And
yes.
I kind of take it through one-on-one conversations over a period of time.
Very
And
nice.
my coaching usually centers around the job roles and the KRAs because
Yes.
nowadays people want the instant gratification. After that, if they are still interested, then I try to appeal to their more nobler self of saying, "Pehle अच्छा इंसान bano," like you said. But nowadays, the number of people who want to become a insan is a little limited.
Yeah.
So I need to sort of keep adapting to the target audience as we go along. But a
Yeah.
great session as usual, Yogesh ji.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Absolutely. Good. So I think we are at 5:15, and I think a lot of people love if you leave them early also, In like when I do a session with the client and the client, like Tina, for example, in 1 hour time, but if I leave her by 45 minutes, they'll be happy to get that extra 15 minutes. So I have booked my time till 5:30. Unless anybody has anything more to add, otherwise we are done for today's session. Thank you so much for joining. I know very good time. Anybody, anything last if you want to share before we yeah, Krishnan.
See, we use the word पहले अच्छे इंसान बनो. Is there not an assumption कि हम अच्छे नहीं हैं?
हाँ, ये बात भी है.
I'm saying अच्छे already हैं. Why do we have to say पहले अच्छे इंसान बनो? This is one of the mistakes parents make,
Yeah.
telling kids be a good boy, be a good girl. I mean, why are we assuming that we are not good, right?
Yeah.
You're already good, right? Already अच्छे इंसान है. That's my point of view.
हाँ, ओनली कृष्ण मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि लाइक वो जमीर को जगाने के लिए थोड़ा ना मतलब हिलाने में आसान रहता है, ऐसा मैं सोचता हूँ मतलब.
See, there is a
उनको
study as
शीशा
you talk
दिखाना
about.
पड़ता है.
See,
You have to
हम्म.
show
as you
them the
talk
mirror.
as you talk about neuroscience and all, studies have shown if you show somebody a mirror, it does not trigger their conscience.
हम्म.
Okay, I mean from the negative point of view. I'm not saying from the
Yeah.
positive point of view.
Yes, yes.
If you tell somebody you made a mistake and they try to defend that mistake,
Yeah.
then when they defend that mistake, their conscience is saying I did not make a mistake, so why do I need to improve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And so this is what happens. People know what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong. Their conscience is working for them. When
Yes,
I make a mistake, I know I made a mistake.
yes.
Somebody telling me you made a mistake may actually make me defend my mistake.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Agreed, agreed.
Right. So instead of saying "Achhe insan bano," what if we say continue your goodness?
Mm.
Have you heard of the Ubuntu story where if somebody commits a crime, what they do?
Ubuntu, no, okay.
So they don't punish that guy.
Mm.
He stands in a public area, 30, 40 people surround him, and one by one, each person has to speak something good about him.
Mm.
And when he listens to so much goodness about him, he
Yeah.
realizes, why did I make this mistake? And he
Mhm.
transforms himself.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so I definitely believe I never tell people become better, achhe bano.
Mhm.
Even with my children, I don't. I remember my daughter. I mean, she's a designer. She's 29. When she was a teenager, one day she said, "Dad, one day I'll make you proud." I said, "There's not going to be that one day because from the day you were born, I'm proud of you. Why should
Correct.
there be
No,
one
no.
day you will make me proud, right?" Same with the son. This
Very
was
nice.
my point of view that हम
No, very
कहते
good.
हैं अच्छे इंसान बनो, but
Yeah,
I believe everyone is good.
yeah, yeah. No, no, agreed. I think it's a good, I think, good input actually. Yeah. वेरी नाइस. आई थिंक मेरा आइडिया था कि पब्लिक को हिलाने के लिए थोड़ा सा वो बोलने से.
नहीं, पूरी दुनिया हिलाने की कोशिश कर रही है ना.
No,
Yeah.
what I took from it is that the structure was very foundational.
Very,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that is what, like, it touches your heart, it makes sense, it's very relatable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
बढ़िया. Thank you so much. Yeah.
love the session, Yogesh.
I know, I know. I mean, आप
Yeah,
तो हमारे पुराने हमारे गुरु हो in some form.
yeah.
So I learned 7 habits from Krishnan. So he was my master trainer. So I think way back in 2010, I think 15 years ago. Yeah. So, so अभी आप लोग का ना बॉडी लैंग्वेज लग नहीं रहेगा आपको सेशन छोड़ना है. But I think
मेरे को
And
जाना
very
है.
interesting.
It's
yeah,
7:50 here, so definitely need to step up. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Lovely meeting you.
Yeah, we'll catch up. So maybe we'll see if we can get Soundari, for I think Sanjeev is here. So Sanjeev, if you want to share something, I think we were just about
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
I just to add to what Krishnan said that I like what Maria Reynolds, one of the great authors on coaching, she has written the book which says "Coach the person, not the problem." I
Hmm.
think that's where the whole journey starts with coaching the person. And I
Yeah,
think what we are doing today is coaching ourselves first, and
yeah,
then we'll be able to coach somebody or share that journey.
yeah,
So even if we are showing the mirror, sometimes showing the mirror is also colored by our own perception about the person. And so I like what Krishnan said that, am I operating from a perception that he is not a good guy? But showing the mirror, and he is going to figure out by himself whether the mirror
yeah,
is showing me that I'm a good or I'm not so good. So when we start focusing on coaching the person, the problem many of us know the problem or the solution, but our
Yes.
role as coaches, and I like the framework where we are going. I like Armin also mentioned the basic of
Hmm.
even coaching ourselves in this journey. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Yogesh, for creating. And Yogesh is so famous for creating this acronym. So I think the it was so intriguing when I saw this Costco. I was like, wow, Costco I know is a retail outlet in the US, and what is Yogesh doing with Costco?
I
Wonderful, very
actually,
good.
so Sanjeev, I lived in New York and Costco is like the famous shop there. तो मैंने
Yes,
पता है
yes.
क्यों चूज किया, बिकॉज कॉस्को में ना आपको जो चाहिए सस्ते भाव में होलसेल में मिल जाता है. तो मैंने बोला ये कॉस्को भी सस्ते भाव में कोचिंग एक्चुअली. तो मैंने बोला दोनों हिसाब से
Wonderful.
मैच हो जा रहे हैं ना, तो इट कॉस्को सस्ते में भी हो जाए और होलसेल भी हो जाएगा एक्चुअली ना.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry,
चलो.
I'm not in a position to come on video. My daughter
या
is sleeping on
या
my
या
on that's why I'm so sorry. Yeah,
No,
thank
no,
you.
no worries, no worries, Sanjeev. In fact, Sanjeev is one of our trainers along with me for the Sahaj Yoga leadership. So we, I think, do a lot of sessions together, and
Yeah.
yeah. So in fact, maybe one day I would try and do, Sanjeev, we could do a Sahaj Yoga session as a webinar on meditation.
Yes.
I don't know if it will be something that people would like, but I think we can introduce that at some point.
Yeah, yeah, it would be wonderful. Yeah, self-exploration is part of, I think, everybody's life today.
Yes,
The people at least who are on this platform. So
yes.
why not explore that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
sure.
do that actually. So
Yes,
good.
yes.
Yeah, so thank you. So many people have thanked on the session. I appreciate, and I think your क्या बोलते हैं, patronage is helping us to constantly keep coming new. So there are a lot of things that we have planned, and this is the 10th anniversary of crossover. So you will see a big enthusiasm in all of us कि यार 10 साल से हम लोग लगे हुए हैं. So looking forward to a great year ahead. Yeah. So thank you so much. I'll see you again.
Thank you, Yogesh.
Yeah. Bye,
Thank you.
Shankar. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.